Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host Gary Vaynerchuk and this is the Thunder Show, the internet's favorite wine program. WLTV is going to be focusing on 3 wines from Napa Valley today. Napa Valley cab-based wines, all 3 requested by viewers. I've been promising, and I've been promising a lot lately. And actually, that's gotten me into a little bit of trouble. I've actually been unable to manage all the promises that I've been doing for all the people that have been emailing me about WLTV. So what I need you to do is I need you to really pay attention right now. If I promised you to, let's say, like, wear a t-shirt on the show, look at this, Mont. It's a stain-proof. I think I can actually... That wasn't such a good idea, was it? We're off to a rocky start on Monday. But the Jets won, so I'm in a good mood. Arthur from redwinebuzz.com sent me this. It's a stain-proof t-shirt. Pretty cool. He's got a nice little site. I promised him that. I've got Washington State wines here. I've got other wines here. I've got products that I'm supposed... I mean, there's so many promises, wines. So, here's what we're going to do. If I've promised you, only if I've promised you, that I'm going to do something on WLTV because everybody wants it. For example, people wanted a huge shout out to Marathon Data, the peeps over at Marathon Data. I did that. Check, it's off the list. Shirt, check, off the list. If there's something still on the list, please email cmott@winelibrary.com. I need your help. Let's link that up, Mott. And let's organize all our thoughts, and I want to come through on all my promises, and I'm probably going to promise a little bit less. Speaking of promises and other things, let's talk about Vayniac Cab before we get into the wine today, since that is also a Napa Valley Cab. There's a link over here. Let's put it down here for any new-time people. We are doing a community-driven product. There were some links and some chatter on the forums, and I really apologize for the mix-up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to post a link below. It's going to be a big link day, Mott. Bring out your pad. We're going to do first a video from Michael at CrushPad. Second, a survey, which we're going to need you to fill out to go with the direction we're going to go with the Vayniac Cab. Now, you may know that some people have already filled out this survey, but this is going to be completely cleared because this survey is only for people that did purchase the Vayniac Cab, because that's who it's for. So down below, you're going to see the link. There's 10 questions. Please fill it out. But then in the comments section, there's a box there before you submit. Please put your full name in there. If you have your Wine Library customer number, that would be even better. But, you know, your full name for sure. We will cross-reference that. We will only be tallying the people that have actually joined the project. And then over the rest of this week, early into next week, I'll be talking about the results from the survey. This is kind of the survey that we're using to give our direction towards how we're going to make this wine. We still have the link to the Vayniac Cab in the forums, Mott. Another link, so that people can know what's going on. But this project is along the way. I'm so sorry that I've been kind of MIA. I was away all last week, and some people feel like there's no direction for the project, but I promise you, there is a direction. Please check out the video, fill out the survey. We'll continue to do more on that next week after we get the results and tell you kind of how we're going about that. Speaking out the forums, I want to do one last thing. We haven't done this in a long time. Anybody watching right now, if you want a lot of information, please join us on the forums. There's so much going on there. And let's go to the introduce yourself, which is my favorite part. So let's link up the intro part. I'd love to see some new people introduce themselves in there. It's a lot of fun. The community's growing, having a lot of fun. And that was a whole lot of ranting early on a Monday show after a huge Jets victory. Maryville, 2004, Starmont Cabernet. This wine is $20 US. Now it is Cabernet, but it's also got a little bit of Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Franc in there. And we had a lovely viewer ask me multiple times to taste this wine. Not telling me why, though. That was kind of funny. I won't tell you why I want you to taste this wine. So do they hate it and want to see if I'm so wrong? Do they love it? I'm not sure exactly what's going on. 20 bones, very fair price for Napa Valley Cab these days. Let's talk about Napa a little bit while we're doing a Napa show. Napa's changed so much over the last 10 years. Heck, the last 20 years, it's insane. You can't even recognize the place. It really went from farmland to Disneyland, and it's a very interesting place these days. But the food that you can have in Napa is extraordinary, and the wines are still exceptional coming out of Napa. They've really focused on Cabernet, which is a good thing. The wines tend to get a little little over oaked, so that does bother me at times, but they're definitely, you know, it's definitely a place that is very respected around the world. The real question in play in these days is, are the wines overpriced? And that's what scares me, and that's what gets me worried. We have some pretty fair priced wines here, so I'm hoping that they come through, but let's see what happens here. This is the Starmont. It's got some nice color. Maryville is a very good producer. You know, it is known for their profile, which is their high-end wine that does very well, but they make good wines across the board. Let's give it a little bit of a sniff. This is kind of an interesting little wine. It actually has a very, very open bouquet. I'm pumped to have the big-ass glass on the scene today. A little bit of charcoal. I'm almost getting, you know, Boston baked beans candy. You remember those old school Boston baked beans candy? I actually had some in the green room at Ellen, and I was like, wow, this flavor and smell is actually something I recognize, and here it is right off the bat, not too much longer after. I'm getting a little bit of that on the nose. I'm getting a little bit of cedar here as well. I'm getting pine needles and a little bit of, you know, dust, you know, antique shop dust here on the nose as well. It's quite fascinating. Let's give it a whirl. Good, firm, rigid tannins. Actually quite obvious. Nice little blackberry polish kind of finish. I'm liking the weight of this wine. It's got some character to it as well. It's bitter. This is a wine that would definitely bother a lot of people. It's a wine I think will open up over time. I'm also excited about the youthfulness of this wine. It's very vibrant, very bouncy, very joyous, very much like a fifth grader, not a 5-year-old, like a kindergarten kid. I like it. It's not crazy special. It's good old solid, you know, 285 batter that you can count on for a decent hit once in a while. Mark Lemke, do you remember that name? This wine reminds me of Mark Lemke. You know, it's just a solid, good old-fashioned bottle of Cabernet. It's not doing too much. It's definitely not over the top, which has been a problem. Not too over-oaked, which I appreciate. Good sound structure, but nothing that's changing my life. This wine has not changed my life. Heck, it's not changed my day. I'm going to score this wine 88 points. Good old solid lunch pail bottle of Cabernet, 20 bones. Doesn't scare me from telling people to go out and try this. If you're addicted or focused on drinking Napa Valley Cab, I think it's actually better than a lot of wines in the price point, but it's definitely not something that I'll remember in 25 years. Let's move on. Get a little bit of a rinse. Jets won yesterday. Dirty fish. They can't beat the Jets. Sequoia Grove, 2004 Cabernet, Napa Valley. This wine is $29 US, and this wine's been getting a lot of buzz. I've been dying to try the 2004 of this wine. The wonderful viewer wanted me to drink the 03. We only have the 04. He said that was rad, so we communicated that was fine. And secondly, Sequoia Grove has, you know, Mark T, who's involved in Carl Lawrence, which is a very serious winery in California. There's a lot of very interesting stuff, sneaky stuff going on with Sequoia Grove that's got a lot of people buzzing, and I'm really darn excited about trying this wine. Also very dark. What you get out of the Cabernets from California not only is great color, but always very structured, big, bold wines. It's hot in Napa. The fruit is getting extracted properly. I mean, you know, you're really getting big, massive, structured Cabernet wines. Let's give this a little bit of a sniffy sniff. There's a little bit more of a polished nose. I kind of like this. There's some elegance going on in this nose. There's almost like a custard, a raspberry, blackberry custard coming through on this wine. I like the nose quite a bit. Very candy-esque. It reminds me a little bit of the candy shop, but not too over the top as well. There's an underlining, almost like a sauerkraut juice kind of component on the nose, which I'm finding quite interesting and different. Let's give this a whirl. It's got some thunder. It's a winner. This is out and out winner. Very polished, very elegant. Really reminds me of when Groth, if you ever drank Groth from Napa, was in its prime. Late 80s, early 90s, just pounding out exceptional bottles of Cabernet at very fair prices. In today's world, $29 for top-notch Napa Valley Cabernet is definitely a value. As scary as that sounds, 29 bones is not inexpensive by any stretch. I'm not even trying to imagine that it is. But when you're getting this kind of quality, when it's teetering on $40, $50 quality in your mouth, you're excited. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, $30,000 is expensive, but if you buy a $60,000 car for $30,000, brand new, it's a good deal. It's kind of like this. This wine is really showing me an enormous amount of, I want to call it polish, elegance, refinement. It reminds me of, like, you know, that kid you know that's been part of that family and just knows where the fork and the fork and the spoon and all those refined kind of things. Went to, like, what is that school where you have to walk on your book on the top of your head? I don't know. Charm school. This wine has gone to charm school, and I'm impressed by it. It's showing a lot of power. It's also got charisma. It's got balance. It's got really nice underlining green pepper component on the finish that I'm still tasting right now. This is the kind of wine that I would love to pair up with some beef dishes, anything heavy. I can even see it going with a really wild mushroom dish. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. You know, just get a bunch of different mushrooms together, you know, and just a little salt and just truffle oil. Oh, and this wine, it's very, very good. It's got multi-dimensional flavors. And it's kind of easy to drink by itself too. Really tangy kind of, not tangy, almost a minty kind of finish. This is a good wine. I'm going to score this wine 91 plus points. I think it's an out and out buy. I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. It's 29 bones. And Leon Washington's number, who ran back a kickoff return yesterday, I may want to add. And it's definitely a wine I think that a lot of people can get on board with. This is a wine that should be sought out. St. Clement, 2004 Oropus, 15.6 alcohol content, and that scared me right off the top. $40 US, 93 points Wine Spectator, 91 points Wine Advocate. It's got a little Petit Verdot and a little bit of Merlot action to go along with the Cabernet. Now it's saying Cabernet Sauvignon on the label. The Oropus used to just say red blend, so they're obviously now over the top on the percentages of Cabernet to allow them to call it Cabernet. You may recall on WLTV, if you'd like, you could search right up there, so you don't have to ask me if I ever did anything before, that I adored the 03 version of this wine, so I'm super excited about the 04. This is a wine that I've been really on since like 94, 93. They've just pumped out great wine after great wine, 40 bones. Still not crazy to think that this was basically around the same price as Insignia, 10 years ago. Now Insignia is like $250 and this is $40. You can tell you pretty much where this wine has gone, which is still a relatively tremendous buy. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a smell action right now. There's a poll going on right now. And Mott, link time down below. I need your help. It's actually a poll on this pretty cool website, and it asks, who would you like to share a glass of wine with? And I think I'm losing to Parker and Jancis Robinson and Hugh Johnson, so I want to blow them away. And how do I do that? With the Vayner Nation supporting it. So Vayniacs, please check that out. Click the link below. There's a lot of links to click today. It's going to be a long night, but definitely could use your help. I like to be number one above those guys. It's kind of a lot of fun. Let's give this a little bit of a smell. Again, this is really exploding with... This is insane. Ma, come here. I know you hate to make appearances, but you've got to smell this. This is wild. Ready? Do you get it?
A little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just insane. I mean, this is a little more gummy, but I talk about Big League Chew. I brought it out just for fun today, and no joke, they are right on the nose. I'm getting an absolute Big League Chew action. It's like if you took the Big League Chew and poured black jam on top of it, like blackberry jam on top of it. That's exactly what this wine smells like. It's pretty rad, actually. There's an underlying black pepper component coming on through here. Little grounded, fresh. You got that? Yeah, it's really in here as well. So you're getting you're getting black pepper, Big League Chew, and a blackberry jam on top of. This is a very wild and exotic and flavorful and exciting nose. I love the nose. If you're watching for the first time, please don't underestimate the bouquet in a wine. It is imperative. Let's give this a whirl. Pretty candy-esque, a little bit too fruity for me. The sugar levels are a little high on this for me. 15.4, alcoholic. It's getting a little kangaroo. It's getting a little, the kangaroo is jumping around in Napa Valley, and it's like, oh crap, is that a kangaroo? Yes, it is, and it's the St. Clement Europus, and this little kangaroo is bothering me a little bit much. You know, I wonder if we rewind and watch the 03 version, where I said it's straddling that line, it's getting very close, don't go over the edge. 03 held on. 04, let go. And it went the wrong direction. Anytime you let go of a cliff, it's not going to be a good thing. That's what's happening here. This is too sugarified. It's too candy. This wine went Candyland on us, folks, and we're not going to appreciate it. We're going to score this wine 87 points. If we want sugar water, we'll go to the tap and dump some sugar in it. And that's what this is showing. Just way, way too much sugar-fied, fake fruit flavors. Really disappointing off of the tremendous, somebody like breaking in from the roof, off the tremendous 2003 effort. This wine went a little too far. Again, $17 in Australia will get you this flavor every day of the week. Question of the day. Actually, it's like more of a request. Need your help. It's a big week. It's like all the new shows are starting and all these things. So I'm going to ask you a question of the day. What should I watch this week? What would be my can't miss on the real TV? Though we all know we watch TV on the computer now. It's the way we're going. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.